for the spring 2026 elections. We will be starting today, and we have some new rules. First of all, we would like to start with the secretary position. The way we'll do this is that the secretary, if you'd like to join us, Aiden. You may sit and take note of the mics. Okay, we will have time to listen to a brief introduction if you'd like to start about yourself. Somebody here will help me with the time. Each candidate will have 1 minute to talk about themselves, and then we'll proceed.
Hi everyone, my name is Eden Kwasi. I am a junior student majoring in computer engineering tech. I'm also a transferred student from Fulton Montgomery County College. I come from Côte d'Ivoire in West Africa, and I am an international student. My first language is French, and also I've had many leadership experiences, such as the fact that I was the class delegate of all my classes in middle school and in high school, and I was also the vice president of the student government in my high school. I think that I can be a good secretary because I'm organized and I'm detail oriented, and I feel like I would like to gain experience in the student government at UDLA. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eden. We have prepared a couple of questions that we will be asking you, and then we will open the questions to the public if they have any questions to defer to you. I would like to start with, how would you improve transparency and communication for the student government?
Okay. I think that we have many policies, and I feel like all of them are not up to date. And as a secretary, I will make sure that all the policies are up to date, and also that during the meeting, the communication goes through, and also I will make sure that before every meeting, I look at the agendas and I share it to everybody so that everybody will be on track during the meetings.
Thank you so much. Beyond documenting, how would you use this role to keep both SGU members and the wider student body informed and engaged throughout the year?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, of course. Beyond documenting, how would you use this role to keep both SGU members and the wider student body informed and engaged throughout the year?
Okay. I think that I can, beyond documenting, I can just try to speak with people and inform them as a secretary, because I know like every decision that will be taken, I feel like I can go to the students and speak with them, or like make sure that all the decisions that are being taken, the students know them. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Eden. I would like to open the floor to the public if they have any questions they would like to address to our candidate. We have one.
Hi. So, as an executive position, besides just doing the secretarial duties, you'll also be in charge of making decisions for like projects to work on stuff. Do you have any certain goals that you have for the position, such as in that regard?
As a secretary, I feel like I'm responsible of documenting every decision that will be taken. But if I can have any impact on them, I think my main goal goal will be to ensure that student life, student activities are well, because really um, I would like to have an impact on student activities and give propositions about that.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, thank you so much, Ethan. Okay, everyone. Now we will be continuing with the Vice President candidate. All good? Yes. Okay. We will be proceeding with the same procedure as we did with Eden. So you will have about 1 minute to introduce yourself and have any opening statement that you would like.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine Luthun. Most of you probably know me as Jasmine. I am a transfer from City of St. Anthony County Community College. I'm a junior majoring in computer science and cybersecurity. And for my experience, I'm currently the SGU President Pro Tempore, so I oversee the Senate. Previous experience includes being a senator at City of St. Anthony and the student government, a lot of leadership roles with committees, and I'm also currently a resident advisor.
Thank you so much. We will be proceeding with a couple of questions. First of all, how would you maintain neutrality during SGU Senate meetings when controversial topics arise?
So as the Vice President, you are meant to be a neutral body, and I would remain a neutral body. Whenever controversies do arise, you want to hear them out because with the point that some people see different perspectives, so maybe the point is a different perspective that I'm not seeing. But if it's really controversial, then refer to policy. Yeah.
Thank you. How would you handle situations where popular ideas conflict with policy or professionalism?
I feel like our policies and procedures do handle that of how do we deal with when we're not professional, and then conflicting with policy is breaching policy and procedures, which is breaching your contract as well. So again, I feel like that would fall under disciplinary action.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. I would like to open the floor to the public if they have any questions they would like to ask.
Hello. So one of the main issues we run a lot in our Senate meetings is that a lot of the times we tend to be off topic in terms of what exactly we need to discuss. As the chair of these meetings, how do you plan on making sure that discussion stays on topic and not off topic, essentially?
Thank you for your question. So as I'm currently pro tem of the Senate, and I've learned how the Senate works through that role, I currently have a draft plan of improving Senate training, for one, going into the next year, so that way senators are not only trained on what SGU is and what the role is, but they're also trained on professional development and leadership development as well, so that way they're more prepared coming into the role. And then I would also kind of use my role as chair, not abuse it, but use it to the power of to cut off the discussion, to cut off discussions that are not related to the topic, so we stay on topic and be more effective and efficient. Thank you. Hi. Got you. So the organizations, yes, are very different and unique on their own. Each organization also has their own organization head, which is chosen by the executive board and approved by the Senate. But I would my role there would be to oversee the organization heads and trust their judgment in overseeing their team. Whenever I feel that they're not doing their job to the best of their ability, or I don't know, like they're not following policies or something, or they're not whatever, then I would kind of step in and talk with the head first, and then we go down the chain if needed. Also consulting with the advisors as well, because each board has their own advisor, SGU has their own advisor, so kind of be consultative body, I guess. Thank you. Can you say that again? Because I can't hear you.
So there's every now and then cases where policy can't cover everything. What's your approach when dealing with problems that are not explicitly government policy?
Gotcha. So, I mean, yes, our policies are not the greatest, but we do have the thing where our Constitution supersedes our policies, so then I refer to our Constitution. If that doesn't help, then consult with the advisors, consult with the executive board, because they are the team that I would be working with to make the best decision at that point. And then if we notice that there is actually like a better word, hole in policy, we fix it when we notice it. Like try to fix it before you get to that point as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for asking questions, and thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Could the candidates for the treasurer position please come up? Okay. Hello. We would proceed with the same procedure. So if one of you wants to start with a statement.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I'm Kai Hokinson. I transferred here from Pensacola Community College. I'm a junior studying computer science in the BSMS track. As my experience, I'm currently the vice treasurer for the last 2 semesters here. And then at my community college, I was the VP of finance, which was our treasurer position, for 3 years there.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Aiden Pena. I'm a sophomore here. My major is computer engineering. For prior experience, I was a senator for almost a year, and that was a fun experience. And also, I'm a treasurer of our entrepreneurship club here as well, so that helps out.
Thank you, both of you. I would like to start with the questions. First of all, how would you ensure SGU funds are managed responsibly and transparently? Aiden, if you would like to start, or?
Sure. To make sure that our funds are used transparently, I would make sure that we have a monthly check for our budget, basically, to make sure that our student body can ensure how we're spending our money, so that each club and organization can also voice their opinions on how they want us to spend their money. So that this will be like hopefully just constant communication between clubs and organizations, so that there's no confusion, there's no questions on how the process works or anything like that.
How would you ensure SGU funds are managed responsibly and transparently?
Yeah, sure. So, as per our new financial policy that just passed, like Aiden mentioned, there's now a monthly, part of the treasurer position, there's a monthly review of the current funds that are being used. And I think that's always a great way to encourage our clubs and organizations to be spending that money, as well as allowing this being brought to the budget committee and making budget committee be a more representative place able to come and address their concerns spending-wise, not just be a way for budget to be made in like the spring semesters.
Thank you. We have created a scenario where two student initiatives are competing for limited funding. Both have strong support, but you can only fund one. How would you make this decision? If you guys want, we could give you some time to think about it. Or you could start.
Can you repeat it again? I'm sorry.
Two popular student initiatives are competing for limited funding. Both have strong support, but you can only fund one of them. How would you make the decision?
Yeah, I can answer that. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of variables that go into answering that question, not just two organizations, right? I feel like there's, obviously we have policy for a reason, and then as the treasurer, you're not solely responsible for where that money goes. I mean, there's a lot of chains of command in a sense, and there's other advisors, and you have the exec board that you go in and ask those things, and they have, most likely the Senate would have the final say in a lot of the those decisions. Communicating, I think, is a big point there. Making sure everyone knows all the details about these initiatives, benefits are. I mean, it really comes down to just the treasurer for some reason deciding. I think it really ends up. I think it ends up being not what you feel, but what follows the best part for the students and what initiative is best for them.
Like our vice treasurer said, it's a long process. I don't really see why it would be up to directly the treasurer, but if it was directly up to me, I would look at which initiative affects the most amount of students first. I'd see which one benefits the most amount, how they're affected, and I'd try to, that'd be my first priority, really.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the public?
If you guys could you tell me the major differences between the old financial policy and the new financial policy that just passed, please?
Okay, yeah, I can start. Yeah, so a lot of big changes in our new policy. Some of the big ones I feel like to highlight is our new reserves pool, how that policy is now covered. Previously, in our 11th position, it was all organizations, including SGU, were required to submit one reserves pool per year. Now, with our new financial policy, that is split into each individual organization. So this allows CFB, for example, to submit a separate reserve pool from Web. This can make it a lot easier, I feel, for organizations to plan out their semesters accordingly. Luckily, we're in a great situation where we have a lot of reserves, so we have a budget for a reason, but extenuating circumstances, especially like this last past year, a lot of incoming students that are engaged, having kind of Web being able to doing their own separate reserves pool early on in the year can make it easier for them to plan without having to wait for esports for whatever reason, having to decide if they need some money right at the beginning.
Like our vice treasurer said, I think the biggest difference was the reserves pools, but also I'm pretty sure we changed how the student activation waiver fee works. Like now it only works for students who are off campus completely, and they only live 50 miles away from campus, I'm pretty sure. So that's another big difference.
Thank you. Do we have any other question?
Hi. So the treasurer position has the role of choosing who gets money and who doesn't at the end of the day. How will you make this decision? What will you be going off of to make that decision?
Like I said earlier, I'll just focus on which initiative or which project affects the most amount of students and beneficially, importantly. So if one project has a lot of support, but it only affects a small group of students, I won't give them project as much money compared to another initiative. So that's really what I'd focus on first.
Can you repeat the question just one more time?
So at the end of the day, you have to give people money or not give them money, depending on your decision. What do you use to make that decision? Like, what are you prioritizing?
Yeah, I think it's, student impact, I think, is the biggest thing. How that money can be used to impact our students. I mean, it's the students' money at the end of the day. We pay our student activity fees for a reason. We want to be involved in college, enjoy our college experience. And so we pay that money to fund events, to fund clubs, to fund organizations, and using the money effectively as our job to make sure the students have the best experience they can. And as treasurer, you oversee that. You also work with clubs and mainly organizations, to draft that budget in the spring semester for the next year, highlighting what the organizations need and how they can use that money to do their things effectively, jobs effectively.
Thank you. And for our last audience question.
So, as treasurer, you'll be the chair of the budget committee, and you'll also be mainly working on the next year's budget. How are you ensuring that every student knows about that these committees are happening, and that to make sure that our student voices outside of SGU are being heard?
Sure. So, obviously, the budget is probably one of the biggest. I feel like the biggest thing the budget committee does, and it's their main job, especially part of the treasurer position. I do agree with your question that we could definitely make it more transparent. Unfortunately, this past year, or past semester, the budget committee met at like 8 o'clock, and not the most accessible time in the world. But yeah, so trying to best to meet all the committee members' needs and meeting at a reasonable time for the committee members, but also for regular students, I think would make it a little easier for other people to get to, as well as making, like, obviously we have it on Engage, and we'll have it on campus groups coming next year, but doing some more promoting, especially when budget season comes around, just to make them they're aware that exists, and that's how their money is being spent, and that it is open to the public.
Like Kai said, I want to do more advertisements essentially for our budget committees. We have the monthly reports, so we want to do that more regularly. And also I want to do more announcements. So when we start working on the budget, when the deadline for when we finish working on the budget, so that all students know and there's no questions about it at all.
Thank you. Okay. If we could have the candidates for the president position get close. Hello.
Howdy.
Is there anyone that would like to start with a statement, or did you like time? Okay.
I'll start. How many minutes do I have?
1 minute.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Noah Lunaharo. I am a proud junior student here at SUNY Poly. I double major in, thank you. I double major in business administration and finance. I am also the current student government president here at SUNY Poly. Besides that, I want to share everybody here my motto for this upcoming year, and the term is, be ready. I have come not to be served, but to serve. This is a motto that's said by someone that's very inspirational in my life. He goes by the name of Jesus Christ. He's a big inspiration in my life, and I think as a president, although I'm at the top of the chain, my main focus is to serve the student body first, rather than serve myself. And I think as president, my initiatives, that if I get the chance to talk about it later in the future, will be mainly focused on serving the students first, rather than serving myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
This means you have 10 seconds left.
my name is Danny Velez. I'm currently your Director of Public Relations, and last year I served as a first-year senator. I'm currently a sophomore studying mechanical engineering technology, and besides that, I've been in many leadership positions where I've had to collaborate with a team in high intense and low intensity situations. So I think I got a lot to bring to the table once we start getting into questioning. And my motto for this election is let's put the student back into student government. So I think it should always be focused on the student body, their objections, their motives, what they would like to see in our student government. And yeah.
Thank you.
Voris Chaput, I'm the current vice president of the student government. Over the past years, I've been in a lot of parts all across the school. I've done esports my first freshman year. I was in clubs my freshman and sophomore year. I've done the senator position, vice president position, play on the sports team for men's volleyball. We have a game this Wednesday if you want to stop by. And overall, I've been very part of the community, very in-depth on a lot of things. I've also served as your voting delegate for SUNY SA.
Thank you, all candidates. We will continue with the questions. First of all, how would you measure the success of SGU initiatives and communicate results to students? If you need time, we can give you time, but...
Could you repeat the question? I apologize.
How would you measure the success of SGU initiatives and communicate results to students?
All right, so communicating results, I'm going to start with the back half of this question first. Communicating results with students is a pretty simple process. It's making it known to students. This is through either campus announcements, this is through our social media posts, and this is through potential in-person efforts such as, talking to the student body. To the first part of that on measuring the success of an initiative, it's very dependent on what the initiative is. However, a clear measure is the general feedback that you're getting from students. If students are actively talking about it, actively mentioning it, then you know it's doing good, at least in some regard. If you're getting negative feedback, well, then you're still getting feedback. You're still knowing how it's feeding with the students.
Thank you. Would you like to continue? Or?
I feel a bit targeted of this question, especially on that second part, especially since I am kind of the image of that feedback as Director of Public Relations. By measuring it, definitely through positive and negative feedback, active and passively, whether it's comments, remarks on social media pages or upfront in person through conversation. And can you repeat that second half of the question?
Second half, how would you communicate results to students?
Yeah, definitely mainly through social media, of course, posters, posts, and definitely expanding social media constantly. We're always through different generations, moving platforms. So definitely staying up to date on that and communicating transparently with the student body.
Thank you.
Could you repeat the question, please? Thank you.
Yep. How would you measure the success of SGU initiatives and communicate results to students?
So when measuring success and communicating results, I think it really all comes down to actual numbers. I don't think we should be saying like, oh, it did well, oh, it didn't do well. And the matter of fact, for those of you who saw the Instagram post that I did yesterday, the one about the poly pantry, I can already report here of what the results of that. We already got 8 clicks from the link tree, which sees how many people actually use the poly pantry since that one Instagram post. Besides that as well, I don't know if our office manager here is Lauren. Every time I see her, I always ask her, how many bus passes have we used so far? That is another initiative that I have done. And as of now, since I think it's been up and running for a week and a half, we have used about 22, 25 bus passes. And another initiative as well is the Swipe It Forward, which I don't have actual numbers yet, but it's coming soon. It's coming soon. But I think all it really comes down to is actual numbers and reporting that back to the students through the same way we promoted it initially.
Thank you. This question is a bit up for imagination, I guess. What is your vision for next year? In other words, what would you like to accomplish next academic year? Is there anyone that's ready? If so, okay.
All right, so this is, I think, my favorite question ever. I have a lot of plans for student government next year. One of the main things that I think I started working with the provost this year that will fall on for next year and maybe even the following years is we're working on an initiative to have open resources textbook and programs to be used for the first year and the second year of your classes here at SUNY Poly, which means you won't need to be buying $50 textbooks for your intro classes or anything like that. This is a work in progress. This is a long-term vision. It's not going to be done within the time I'm here at SUNY Poly, but it is a baby step start that I am planning to start. Next initiative is we've been building really strong relationships with the nearby communities. For some of the student government members here, you know that we've had the Utica mayor come to our professional development. We've had Utica University, we had MVCC, and we're working on building connection with Herkimer. And we're trying to have these cross-campus events because everybody's always complaining there's nothing to do at SUNY Poly. So we're bringing these people together and bringing a bigger and stronger community here at SUNY Poly. I have so much more to say, but I'm out of time. Thank you.
Forrest?
Sure. So I have a couple major plans that I want to get done in the next year. One of that is increasing our volunteer efforts. We kind of started that this year. If you saw downstairs over the course of this last semester or two, they had postings on different volunteering efforts. I want to expand that. One of the things that always comes out of college is to give back after your time or during your time in college. I want to expand that and open that volunteering up to be more public to the general student body. Additionally, I would like to look into cleaning up our backwards trails. They're very nice trails if any of you have ever gone into them, but they are a little bit in disrepair, so I would like to clean those up a bit for future use. Additionally, I do want to promote and have more events hosted by SGU so that we are more present on campus. SGU is here to provide for the students, and the fact that we didn't have that many events at all this year is kind of a travesty in my eyes.
Thank you.
Repeat the question, please.
What is your vision for next year? In other words, what do you plan to accomplish in the next academic year?
Yeah, when it comes to SGU, there's multiple things internally and externally. Not only continuing our current ongoing projects, such as correcting our current policies and procedures internally, as well as better team bonding overall with our different positions, senators, directors, e-board alike, as well as externally through outreach, as the other candidates have mentioned, through events, direct confrontation with the student body and other campuses around the area.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the audience?
We have one.
I think one thing I wanted to ask y'all is your policy on inclusivity, mainly because I feel like a politician's best attribute is not just what he brings to the table, but what he's willing to change for his voters. And I want to ask each one of you, like, how specifically would my vote, like, basically alter your policy? How would I feel recognized in that sort of agenda?
How we represent you, how we advocate for you. So, at a micro scale as well as a macro scale, the entire campus compared to just certain conservative groups on our campus, because I know we definitely have our differences here and there, while still being together as a whole. So that's my answer for your question.
I think being inclusive to every single student here at SUNY Poly is very, very important. One of the main initiatives that I think this is related to inclusivity, but that we're going to push a little harder is when it comes to, for example, off-campus events. We want to make sure that they have buses for students with no cars so that they can still attend those. For example, free bowling is very popular with Webb. Sorry to call out Webb, but free bowling is very popular with Webb. We want to make sure that students are able to attend those even if they don't have a car. In addition to that as well, all of our group-focused events, we want to push those harder and ensure that every single student here feel represented and feel like they are welcomed. I try my best as a student to talk to as many people as possible. Obviously, I'm still human. I won't be able to talk to every single human on this campus, but I try my best to be as sociable as possible. And matter of fact, actually, the other day, a student from the campus center approached me and said, "Hey, are you the SGU president? Can we do this for SGU?" And that's how it started with the Central Bus Pass. And I hope that if you vote for me, it will stay that way. It will stay that way.
As for inclusivity, right? My focus is generally if it can affect the most students, it's usually the best. In that sense of the word, I mean that events should have inclusivity in mind when they're being made. They should not be made with the knowledge that they're just going to be excluding certain people. So I believe like when I want to plan events for SGU specifically, they're events that are for everyone, not just for a select group of people. So if you vote for me, I will be actively trying to get those events on campus.
Thank you. We have another question.
I wanted to ask how you guys would keep transparency between SGU and also the students as a whole. We've seen definitely like some clarity with the students this year, but keeping SGU in the loop as well is one thing that I would look to have the president try and maintain. So if you guys could go in a little bit in depth on transparency between everybody, thank you.
First.
As the vice president, I very much so know that transparency is necessary for an organization to run correctly and efficiently. So using that past experience, I do have a very open mind on how to move forward with being transparent with the orgs. I do plan on working with the orgs even as president along with the vice president and making sure that any initiatives that are including orgs, any events that are including clubs or orgs will be properly communicated to the orgs beforehand and made sure they're informed of things beforehand before trying to move forward in a haphazard way.
Danny?
Question, please.
If you could just tell me how you would handle transparency between not just the students but also SGU as a whole.
Yeah, as Director of Public Relations, I know logistically we do have a lot of communication going on when it comes to initiatives and projects. You know, a lot of collaboration between departments and the student body when it comes to feedback. Mostly when it comes to that, I'll mainly just be focused on making sure when it comes to initiatives that all departments included in that are in the loop, collaborating on that, as well as everyone just having a heads up that it's going on to begin with, especially through our intercommunications like Telegram, messaging, as well as email, which is a little more formal. But even then, it's all about what works best for all parties in the horseshoe. So, yeah, that's my answer.
I think generally when it comes down to transparency, there's two transparency. Transparency towards the student body of what's happening in student government, and transparency within student government itself, like the stipend members. So for the students, obviously everybody have already seen, I've tried my best to be as transparent as possible, how aggressive is a crazy word, how pushy we've been in terms of the social media to let people know as much as what's going on with student government. We have a lot of Instagram posts because this is where the students are at, so we're trying to meet them where they're at. In addition as well, when it comes down to transparency within student government, I think it really all comes down to the training. I think it's very important that there is a clear set training of when you do this, these are the people that you have to keep in the loop. When you do this, these are the people that you have to keep in the loop. So at the end of the day, it really, really comes down to training of your members. And I think it's very, very important that for whoever comes in next for next year, we're going to train them appropriately and in detail.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? No? Okay, thank you, Decan. All the candidates for all the positions come up front and give a final statement.
Hey everybody, as you already know, I'm running for student government president. I'd like to really highlight my motto once again. I have not come here to be served, but to serve. So my main priority is students first. I have not come here to add this on my resume. I want to genuinely benefit the student body, and if you've seen with my past initiatives and the other initiatives that I've been trying to work on, it is putting students first. We make sure that student activities fee that you invest in us, you feel an ROI. Very financial term, it means return on investment. If you put in the student activities fee, you feel that there is something returned back to you and it's not just a random fee that you don't know what's happening with that. So once again, I have come here to not be served, but to serve. Thank you.
Hey everyone. As I said before, I want to put the student back into student government. I feel that not only this year there's been a lot of communication, but a lot of rubbed shoulders when it comes to student government, not only between members, stipended members, but also the student body as a whole. So I definitely want to bring back that union between everyone and work towards further initiatives, more inclusivity, most definitely, as well as just bringing back a lot more heart into student government. I noticed back in 2015, 2018, those resolutions that are just collecting dust in the office, a lot of committees and director positions had initiatives going on. I remember one of them being director of wellness and inclusion, having a resolution to have plants all over campus, personally done by volunteers, which I think was amazing. So I want to definitely continue that and hopefully bring that back in the coming year. Let's put the student back into student government. So that's my answer.
Again, I'm Forrest Chaput. I'm running for president, and if you vote for me, I can guarantee you organization, efficiency, and proper coordination through all the necessary channels.
I'm Kai Hoganson. I'm running for treasurer. I feel like my experience that I've had both here and my previous institution kind of really qualifies me for this position. Work to use your student activity fee effectively and following like policy and all our procedures, make sure our organizations and everything is running smoothly. Thanks.
Again, my name is Pena. I'm running for treasurer. If you guys vote for me, I will love to take the position and actually make sure that we ensure our policy is used justly and that all of our committee meetings are regularly updated so there's clear transparency and yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Eden Kwasi and I'm running for the secretary position. And as a secretary, I will ensure that there is transparency between all the documents and all the decisions that will be taken. And I will also make sure that all the decisions that the students want will go to the executive board. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmati Lutawan. I'm currently running for SGU Vice President. And I guess my main goals are to make student government running back at its capacity, getting the Senate to do more effective and efficient work, as well as the orgs to get them back on track and get them out there with the student population. Thank you.
A final round of applause for the candidates. Thank you for being interested in these positions, and thank you to the audience for participating. This was our debate, and if there are any additional comments, no? Yeah, don't forget to vote. Thank you. April 9? April 9th, yeah. And it runs for 2 weeks. Pardon. For 1 week.